Hi, and welcome back to Life Matters in Focus. I'm your host, Jeff Dingsor. My co-host, Dr. Brady McDaniels-Kilgore.
Welcome.
We left off last time talking about thriving
Right.
in your life.
Knowing your true self and how that ultimately helps you to thrive
Right.
in your life. Yep.
But why is it so important to thrive?
Well, isn't that really what life is really about? It's really about, removing stress, removing anxiety, removing depressive episodes, having healthy relationships, balancing life, our home life, our relational life, balancing that with our work life. So, when we start talking about, what does it look like to thrive, we're talking about, our mind, our heart, our spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And once we align those and we find that those areas are united, or not, that's not a good word, united is not a good word. When you talk about inner balance, that would be a better way.
Yeah.
When you
Okay.
talk about inner balance, that's really what moves us to enjoy our life. Because you can have all the money in the world, or sufficient money. You can have cars, you can have houses, you can have, all the material things that life could offer. But I know millionaires, 2 miles from me,
We're miserable.
that they're not thriving. They're not enjoying their life.
Right.
So we really have to ask the question, are those really the things that really matter? We're talking about life matters,
Right.
not materialistic things matter. But we're going to look at the balance of that. There's nothing wrong with having a nice car or a home, or enjoy going on vacation. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that when we get off balanced internally, and those are the things that drive us.
Right.
Then that becomes what makes havoc in our internal world.
What steps can we take to thrive? I mean, is there a concrete? Well, I guess we can all establish a plan with working with someone like yourself. But how do you go about that? How do you thrive?
Well, this brings us back to where we began, and that is knowing our true self.
Okay. Yeah.
Because, for instance, I worked with one person who, went to college, but they went to the college that their parents wanted them to go. They chose a profession that their parents wanted them to choose. And then, here he, graduated when he was 25 years old, and when he's 35, he's saying, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. I'm in a profession that I hate. I'm grinding out the days. It takes it takes a crane to get me out of bed in the morning to get to work. And that's one story, a story that I hear all the time.
So that's a very prevalent in our society today.
Sure. But
How many people do we talk to every day? I hate my job. I hate my job. I hate my job. Why are you doing it then?
right.
They feel trapped, I guess, in a lot of ways.
Sure. I mean, that's what I was talking about earlier. One of our earlier segments is that I was talking about we make decisions out of emotions, or we make decisions out of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And when we make decisions out of those two categories of our life, then it usually goes badly. So if I'm making a decision to choose a career because I don't want to disappoint my parents, or I don't want to,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have conflict, then I'm making it from an emotional level, or a fear level that, they're not going to pay for my education or help me pay for my education if I don't choose what they want me to choose. So that's just a concrete way of looking at how we can make emotional decisions or decisions out of fear.
Well, I mean, I could certainly relate to that because I've been self-employed for 36 years now. And there have been times in the interims when things have been really slow, when the economy tanked and I needed to get a job to supplement. But aside from that, I can remember people, friends, family saying, when are you going to get a real job? And any time I had gone into that environment of a job for sustenance, to supplement what was going on, it never lasted.
Right.
Sometimes as little as 2 weeks, and I'd be like, what?
Right.
And because I was miserable. I wasn't doing what I felt I was born to be doing. I knew that even though I didn't have a full self-identity, that I knew.
Right.
I knew I was meant to be in my own business in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
And to be under the thumb of some crazy boss.
Yeah, corporate world.
Never sat right with me.
Right.
Never sat right with me. And so there was that stigma of people that would say, when are you going to get a real job?
Sure.
And without even bothering to ask, are you successful?
Right. Or what are you doing? Or, are you enjoying it?
Yeah. And there have been times when I've left that supplemental job because it was just horrible and gone back to my own business and struggled. But I said, if I'm going to work this hard at a job for someone else, why aren't I putting that same effort into rebuilding, building back up my own business? And that's what, that thing would click again and I'd get back to it.
Right.
And even though it was trying, it was difficult times, I was happy.
Well, and that, and you're ahead of the game for a lot of people that are out there that they want to be doing something else. They want to be doing something for themselves, so to speak. Not sure exactly, they don't know how to do that or where to start. Or they may just be living in fear.
Right. I know plenty of people like that.
Fear, anxiety, stress, if I leave this, security, that type of things. But here's the thing, that even though you may not have, a person may not make a ton of money,
right,
they're living their life as they are, that in a way that they're flourishing. And there's lots of ways of success, more so than even monetary.
Well, you have to have that emotional success, that psychological success.
Right.
Like you said, it all goes back to thriving. And,
Yeah. I mean, the gentleman that said it took a crane to get him out of bed in the morning, imagine, we can spend time making money, but we can't spend money to make more time.
Exactly. It's finite. We're all terminal.
Right. We all have a shelf life. Right? We all have a shelf life. And so when you start looking at what is the most valuable commodity we have, it's time.
That's right. And how we spend it is up to us. It's not up to somebody else to tell us how to spend our time.
Right. And see, that comes into the category when I ask what type of person do I want to be, I'm asking, when it comes to the category of time, I have this amount of time, whatever my shelf life is, I'm empowered to use that time. No one else can. It's my time. So that becomes a part of that defining oneself. As I think about, again, what type of person I want to be, what type of partner I want to be, what type of parent I want to be, how do I want to use my finances, what's important to me, what matters, and my time. And maybe time should be at the top because, either we're going to use it effectively, efficiently, and in a way that really moves us toward thriving. And there's categories of time. I mean, when we're in college, when we're going to school or college or developing a craft or our skills, there's an investment of time that is foundational. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I hadn't had the educational foundation of, college. So it was an investment of time, but I knew that there was an end date to that.
Right.
So we can do anything for a season, right?
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that we're going to give segments of times, that's fine. But when I think about the long haul, am I going to spend 30 years doing something that I can't? Am I going to spend 30 years doing something that I can't tolerate, or that I'm depressed, or brings anxiety or stress to my life? Is that really am I going to write that into the narrative of my life?
Right.
Right.
Right. Why is it so? I know we talked about emotion and the thing, but why is it so hard to pick up that pen and change our narrative? What and like I said, it was probably one of the most difficult things I ever did.
Right.
Why is that?
I think because I can speak for myself and others that I've dealt with over 25 plus years now. I think we don't even, what is a choice doesn't feel like a choice.
Explain that.
I never had the category to think in that I had the power to create the type of man that I wanted to be. I never had the category to even think in that framework. Like I was just living out a script. My script had been given to me. And most of the time when we're younger, whether it's our parents, our peers, or we want to fit in high school and college, we're just trying to fit in. We're trying to work out these relationships. We never really stop and ask ourselves, or don't have the categories even to ask ourselves, do I even have a possibility of change? Can I write my narrative for my future? Just don't have those categories to think in.
Well, that's a great place to stop for today. Thank you so much for joining us at Life Matters in Focus. I'm Jeff Dingsor, and this is Dr. Brady McDaniels-Kilgore.
It's great being with you today. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.